Welcome back. All right, so 8 games in the NHL tonight. We got 7 tomorrow. I think it's 8 the day after, and then a whole bunch on Friday. So, busy week altogether, but let's go ahead and jump into this. Looking first at the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Philadelphia Flyers. So, it's Tarasov versus Hart in this one. Things get pushy after a hold by Carter Hart, so motion's up a little bit early here. Not that there was any penalties in this, not really, only a couple. The shots are 2-1 for the Flyers at 3.5 minutes. Hayes has a shot that's held as the Flyers get some pressure. Columbus presses, but the Flyers are shot blocking at this point in the game. Tippett's denied on a backhand. Columbus gets a power play. That leads to a shorthanded goal for Philly. It's Konechny from Lawton at 13:48, and then the Flyers kill the rest. Your key after the shorthanded goal. Make sure you kill the rest of the penalty. Columbus presses with 3 minutes left. The Flyers get some pressure to close it out. It's 1-0 Philly after 1. Second period. Flyers press at 1.5 minutes. Frost has a shot that's blocked. Brown fires one high. The Flyers are controlling it. And then Marchenko scores to tie the game from Christensen and Robinson at 5:58. And that was deflected in. Good forecheck leads to the goal. Johnson would then add one from Gaudreau at 8:41. All of a sudden, it's 2-1 in favor of the Columbus Blue Jackets. However, good patience shown and a good goal scored by Frost. He gets a goal from York and Van Riemsdyk at 10:04. The Flyers press. They draw a power play. Just after it ends, Tippett scores. He gets a goal from Farabee and York at 14:18. Gaudreau then had a shot saved as Columbus presses. D'Angelo breaks up a 2-on-1. And after 2 periods, the score is 3-2 for Philly. Third period, good back and forth early. Bjork has a rush chance that's saved, and then it goes the other way and it goes in the net. It's Konechny with the second of the game at 2:45. That's a rush goal as well, and all of a sudden it's 4-2. Flyers press at 4 minutes. The shots are 4-3 for the Flyers at 5 minutes. Robinson's denied as Columbus presses. Hayes with a wraparound, that's saved. We get some pushing after that. And then Peak makes things interesting. He scores from Roslovic and Nyquist at 11:11. Farabee would then have a shot that was held as the Flyers are pressuring. Goalie gets pulled. Columbus turns it over, and it's in their net. It's Tippett at 18:41, and the Philadelphia Flyers win one. They win this one 5-3. For Philly, they're 11-15-7. Columbus 10-20-2. Absolutely in free fall right now. The shots in this one, 13-8 Philly in the first, 13-12 Philly in the second. Both teams had 13 shots in the third. Final shots, 39-33 for Philadelphia. Both teams go 0-for-1 on the power play. Hits, 28-22 for Philly. Tarasov saves, 34 out of 38. Carter Hart, good night for him, 30 saves on 33 shots. So, I mean, overall, if you're a Columbus fan at this point, you got to be thinking, I mean, this year's top 3 in the draft is supposed to be really good, so there's some hope there, right? Outside of that, though, this is what this game is. This is one of those Connor Bedard games. Teams trying to figure out who's going to jockey for position where in terms of draft lottery position. All right, next up, the Rangers in against the Pittsburgh Penguins. This was a really good game. So, Shesterkin versus Jarry, it takes 22 seconds for the Rangers to open the scoring. It was Kreider from Trocheck, and it was just kind of one of those pucks you kind of fling at the net and it goes in. So, a little bit of luck maybe, or just really good overall anticipation by Kreider of what could work. Then they get a power play, so it looked like the Rangers could make this ugly, but Pittsburgh does kill that off. Their penalty kill's been very good lately. The shots are actually 4-1 for the Penguins as we reach the 6-minute mark. So just that one shot and Jarry waiting for redemption. He would get it. Crossbar for VC on a rush. The Penguins then press at 9.5 minutes. Shots are blocked during that by the Rangers. The Rangers would press with 8.5 minutes left. The Rangers get their second power play. That becomes a 4-on-4, which means then the Penguins have a power play. Everything is killed off there. The Rangers press with 1.5 minutes left. Penguins press in the final shift. The Rangers do clear it out. And the New York Rangers are ahead 1-0 after the first. Second period. Early press for the New York Rangers. There was a post for Hedl. The Rangers go to the power play. Really aggressive penalty kill by the Penguins here. They do kill that off. The Rangers press afterwards, and Jarry holds on. Kakko then had a rush chance that's defended. The shots are 6-3 for the Rangers, 9 minutes into the period. There's a press by the Penguins with 7 minutes left. The Penguins would then get a power play, and they score on it. It's Malkin from Crosby and Letang at 14:24. So those three have combined on a goal or two before in their careers. Penguins press with 4 minutes left. Gensel has a net drive that's saved. We get some pushing after that. 1:51 left. The Penguins get a power play. There was a shorthanded rush by Kreider. That's denied. And then a power play marker is scored. It's Rust from Joseph and Zucker at 19:46. Rust just tips that one into the net. And so it's 2-1 Pittsburgh after 2 periods. Third period, Penguins had the early jump. The Rangers would press at 4 minutes. Lindgren broke up a 3-on-1. Carter's denied on a rush, but then Crosby. Sidney Crosby scores from Gensel and Raquel at 8:40. And then Rust almost added another right after that. So the Penguins are feeling it. But then at 10:03, rush opportunity. Chris Kreider gets his second goal of the game from Trocheck and Brodzinski. Makes it 3-2 and tightens things up a little bit. Rangers press with 8.5 minutes left. Goaltender would get pulled with 2 minutes left. Panarin has a shot that's blocked, and the clock just runs out. The Rangers don't have enough time to tie this. Your final score is 3-2 for the Penguins, so they bounce back from a loss with another win. They go to 19-9-4. The Rangers' winning streak comes to an end. They're now at 18-11-4. Your shots in this one, 8-7 Rangers in the first. Both teams had 10 shots in the second. 10-7 Rangers in the third. The overall shots 28-24 for the Rangers. Power plays, the Rangers 0 for 3. Pittsburgh 2 for 3. That's your difference right there. The hits 32-26 Pittsburgh. Shesterkin 21 saves on 24 shots. There were Igor chants, but we know that when Penguin fans are doing the Igor chant, it's more as a mockery, I guess. Anyways, Jari then saved 26 out of 28 as well. He was very good. So, entertaining game, and now they'll see each other 3 times in March. We'll see what this game sets up for their March matchups, right? All right, next up, the New Jersey Devils in against Carolina. The Devils, I don't think that fans need to worry so much yet, but the team is no longer in first place in their division. It's Vanacek versus Kochetkov, and at 20 seconds, and this is hilarious, 22 seconds, 20 seconds, and I thought, okay, so we're going to see a bunch of goals tonight. And the answer was not really. But at 20 seconds, it's Kokaniemi. He gets a goal from Jarvis and DeHaan. Canes then press for another. They had opportunities. The shots are 4-3 in favor of the Canes 3 minutes in. So pretty wide open start to this one. Devils get a power play. Hughes was robbed because, Kochetkov is fantastic. Killed off. The momentum was towards the Devils at this point, though. Canes get a power play. That's killed off. Hughes then has a chance that's blocked. The Canes clear it out. Natchez was denied, and then he's denied again on his own rebound. So he gets robbed, and then he tries it again on the rebound. And in both instances, Vanacek robs him. 1:21 left. The Devils get a power play. Svechnikov with a cross-check. And so we go into the third period. The Canes do finish the kill. So it's interesting that the shots are almost 2-1 for the Devils, but if you're watching this, it doesn't really feel like that. So Carolina was playing well, I thought. Burns gets point number 800. And they're celebrating, and the graphic was up on the screen, and then it's offside. So that goal didn't count. So that 800th point is going to have to wait for another day for Brent Burns. Canes get a power play. Natchez has a chance that's defended. The Rangers clear it out. And then at 4:17 on a rush, Stahl. Stahl's putting the puck in the net lately. From Martinook and Slavin, he roofed it right after the power play came to an end. Or shortly after the power play came to an end. Devils then get a power play. That leads to a shorthanded goal for Carolina. It is Teravainen from Fast at 6:21. It was a snapshot on a rush. And suddenly it's 3-0 Carolina. So it's one of those games where New Jersey's getting opportunities. Kochetkov's making big saves. The puck goes the other way. And it's in New Jersey's net. So this is something they're going to have to figure out over the next series of games. They're going to have the Christmas break to reset. That's something that teams can do as well. Then there's a near miss for Hischier and Close. Graves has a net feed that's blocked. The Canes clear it out. Hughes was denied on a net drive. So Jack Hughes had opportunities. Just Kochetkov said no at this point in the game. There's a centering pass by Hughes, which is picked off. The Devils press with 2 minutes left. Bratt was robbed on a fast break. 24.2 seconds left. The Devils get a power play. That rolls over to the third period where the Canes, Kochetkov led, finish that kill. Carolina blocking pucks up by 3. So this is where they really go into that shell to make sure they're doing their best to keep that lead. Power play for Carolina. That's killed off. McLeod then had a rush that's broken up by Burns. Burns' defense, I think, has been better in Carolina this year than over the last couple in San Jose, but that's just my observation. Martinook has a net feed that's blocked. Burns nearly gets one, but Blackwood holds on there. Yes, Blackwood was in for the third period. Shots are 8-3 for the Devils with 5.5 minutes left, and at 15:24, Hughes gets them on the board and breaks the goose egg from Smith and Bratt. But before you can get too happy about that, Nason would restore the 3-goal lead at 16:46, and then with 2 minutes left, the Canes get a power play. I mean, technically it's killed off, but it also kills the rest of the game. So Carolina wins in a convincing manner, 4-1. They go to 26-6. They're now leading the division. New Jersey drops to 21-9-2. Shots are 13-7 New Jersey in the first, 14-6 New Jersey in the second, 11-7 New Jersey in the third. Final shots are 38-20 for the Devils. Power plays, both teams go 0-for-4. The hits were 24-20 for the Devils. So they outshoot them by a wide margin and out-hit them. Vanacek saves 10 out of 17. Blackwood saved 6 out of 7. I would think Blackwood starts the next game. Kochetkov saves 37 out of 38. He's not going back to the AHL. No idea what Carolina's going to do. He's not going back to the AHL because arguably he's the reason they win this game tonight. All right, next up, Tampa Bay in against Toronto. And I think Toronto tonight played the best game they've played all season. May very well be. So it was Vasilevsky versus Murray. Point has a net drive. That saved. And all I thought was, oh, if Tampa Bay is going to be able to just come in and get shots like this could be a long night for Toronto. Spoiler alert, they didn't. So Nylander has a rush chance. That's kicked aside. Few whistles and great pace at the start of this one. The shots are 3 apiece at 6 minutes. Kucherov has a net drive. That's defended. Matthews is then denied on a fast break. The Leafs press with 6.5 minutes left. Eventually, they open the scoring. It's Bunting from Nylander at 16:45. So Bunting continues his hot play. We get a one-timer from him as the Leafs press. And then with 17 seconds left, the Leafs get a power play. Things get punchy at the horn. To the point where Bunting is led off the ice by a linesman who basically just shoves him off the ice like, go. And I think it was really, and again, I've compared officials to parents. I think that's just one of those, okay, get out. Just go. That's it. So, because Bunting wasn't happy about that. But either way, it's 1-0 Toronto after one. He was probably happy about that. It takes 1 minute and 1 second. It is a power play goal for Matthews from Sandin and Marner. So one of those times where a power play that spans the intermission, they actually score afterwards. So Matthews with one there. The Bolts would try to answer, but the shots 5 minutes in the period are 2-1 for Toronto. Power play for the Leafs, that's killed off, but it had 6 shots. So, yeah, Tampa Bay was busy trying to keep that puck out of their net. Bolts had 5 shots through the first 28 minutes of this game. So that's why I'm looking at this and saying this might be the best game Toronto's played all year. Tampa Bay had nothing. They were giving them nothing out there. So there's a power play for Tampa. Sergachev fires one wide. That's killed off. No shots on Tampa Bay's power play. A power play which has been good this year. Murray holds one right after. Vasilevsky then poke-checked Kerfoot in close as Kerfoot's coming after him. Chernak then has a blasted save. The Leafs clear it out, but after 2 periods, it's 2-0 Toronto. Third period. Early edge for Tampa Bay. They needed some shots, and they started getting them. Cirelli to point. Near miss there. Killorn has a net drive that's saved, but then Nemesnikov buries his own rebound from Stamkos at 4:09, and that was off of a face-off win. So all of a sudden, it's 2-1. Bolts press for the tie. Sergachev blasts one high. Leafs were on their heels. They needed a goal here. Near miss for Maroon and close. Bolts press with 6 minutes left. The shots are 11-7 in favor of Tampa. With 5 minutes left, they didn't get another shot. Nope. They pull the goaltender with 2 minutes left. That allows Engvall to hit the empty net. From Kampf and Giordano at 18:14, they pull the goaltender again, and Nylander hits the empty net from Yarncroke at 19:28. Toronto wins this one 4-1. They go to 27-6 with the win. Tampa Bay 20-10-1 with the loss. It's interesting because Carolina and Toronto have almost the exact same record. So Toronto looked good tonight. Shots in this one, 15-4 Toronto in the first, 14-4 Toronto in the second. Both teams had 11 shots in the third. Final shots, 40-19 for Toronto. Power plays, Tampa Bay 0-for-1, Toronto 1-for-2. Hits were 33-20 for Tampa because they didn't have the puck in the first 40 minutes. Vasilevsky saves 36 out of 38. He was very good. So was Murray. Not busy, though. 18 saves on 19 shots for Murray. And there you go. So I need to change boards. All right, so now we're going to talk about Ottawa and Winnipeg. Talbot versus Riddick. The Jets press at a minute and a half, and eventually they get one. It's Stenlund. Nice to see him back in the NHL and playing well for Winnipeg. He scores from Gustafsson and Janssen-Fjällby at 1:58. Sens press to answer. Batherson has a rush chance that's saved. But the shots are 5-3 for the Sens at 6.5 minutes. And honestly, I thought the Sens played well, just not getting any puck luck in this one. Gagne fires one wide as the Jets press, and then Morrissey scores at 6:58 from DeMello, and Connor was posting in, and that's a 10-game point streak for Josh Morrissey. Fantastic run for Josh Morrissey. Sens get a power play, and they score on it as Batherson from Chabot and DeBrincat at 8:28, and then the Sens, with some momentum, they're looking to tie it. They add the momentum, and they get a power play, but the Jets kill it off, which switches that momentum back to the Jets. They would get some pressure, and Gagne scores during a delayed penalty from Dillon and Dubois at 19:48. So back and forth period. I think Ottawa outplayed them for stretches, but in the end, Winnipeg's up 3-1 after one. Second period at 1 minute and 2 seconds, Connor scores from Morrissey and DeMello. Remember when Connor wasn't scoring goals? Nope, me neither. Near miss for Scheifele. The Jets press at 5 minutes. The Sens press back at 7.5, but the Jets are blocking him out. And then at 14:23, it is Connor with his second goal of the second period from Dubois and Janssen-Fjällby. This is the first time in Janssen-Fjällby's career that he's had a multi-point game. Jets get a power play. That's killed off. There's a near miss for Dubois in the final minute. There was a post for Scheifele on a 2-on-1 as well. After 2 periods, the score's 5-1. Third period, Jets 13-1 when leading after 2 periods, and they're up by 4. And the only time they've lost when leading after 2 was their last game against Seattle, where we've talked about how they just kind of ran out of gas. Good flow. Jets press at 3.5 minutes. There wasn't really any tension in this period. Hamonic has a blasted save. Riddick had a really good game. Kind of gets lost in all this. Shots are 4-0 for Ottawa at 5.5 minutes. Kelly has a net drive save. The Sens press. Connor was denied seeking the hat trick during that period as well. And in the closing second, Scheifele is denied by Talbot, who did stay in for the whole game, but your final score is 5-1 for Winnipeg. They go to 21-10-1 with the win. The Senators 14-16-1 with the loss. So Sens get back to 500, and they lose their next 2 games. As a Canuck fan, I sympathize. The shots in this one, 16-10 Ottawa in the first, 9-7 Winnipeg in the second, 13-5 Ottawa in the third. The final shots are 36-24 for the Senators. Power plays, Ottawa 1 for 2, Winnipeg 0 for 1. The hits, 31-23 for Ottawa. Talbot saves 19 out of 24. Riddick saves 35 out of 36, and that's the kind of stat line Riddick needed. With Hellebuck out with illness, Riddick needed to get in there and do that kind of thing. And whether they were from the outside and they weren't all that dangerous or whatever else people want to say about it. Because anytime a goaltender has a lot of saves, people will try to diminish that. I'm not sure why. But I thought Riddick played really well. And again, it's important that they have a backup they can trust. And right now, Riddick is playing well. And he has played well in the past as well. It's just been a couple of years since he went on a really good streak there. All right, next up is Seattle at home against St. Louis. I think the Kraken like this schedule. I think they like the fact that they get guys on back-to-backs after they've been in Vancouver. I don't think there's any complaints about this from Seattle. Grace versus Jones. No Kyrou for St. Louis, which is really notable in that he had 4 points last night, right? Donato has a rush chance. That's blocked. Parayko fires one wide as the Blues press. The Blues would draw themselves a power play. Post for Thomas. Seattle clears. They kill it off. Falk has a shot that's held. We get some pushing after that. The Kraken get a power play. There was a post for Dunn, so the posts were getting a workout in that first period. Bjorkstrand's denied. The Blues cleared out. They kill it off. Shots are 4-2 for the Blues at 6.5 minutes. There's a post for Wenberg as the Kraken press. Levo has a blast that's blocked as the Blues make a push trying to get that first goal. There's a near miss for Bjorkstrand, who's all around the net. He's due for at least a couple. O'Reilly couldn't bury one in close, but then on a fast break, for the 4th straight game, Ryan Donato gets a goal. The assist to Larson at 16:27. The Kraken then press for another. In the last minute, the Blues would press back looking for the tie, but after one, it's 1-0 Seattle. Second period, early press by the Kraken. The shots are 3-1 in favor of Seattle at 3 minutes. Power play for the Kraken. McCann has a net feed this block. The Blues clear it out. That's killed off. The Kraken press some more, and they get a goal. Tipped from the side of the net, Soucy from Borgen and Wenberg at 10 minutes. So exactly halfway through the game, the score is 2-0 in favor of Seattle. O'Reilly's denied and close, and Jones had a good game. We've been waiting for a really good game from Jones. I think he had that tonight. There's a post for Bjorkstrand on a rush. Like I said, he's due. Achari can't bury a rebound, and then Sprong. Another fast break goal. He scores from Geeky and Tanev at 16:58. And then in the final minute, McCann banks one in off Grice's pad. So it's one of those goals that you have to be a goal scorer to get it, or just a really good pool player. But either way, McCann makes it 4-0. 25.6 seconds left. Seattle goes to the power play. So that rolls over into the third. The Kraken set it up early. Wenberg has a blast that's held, but St. Louis does kill that off. Then there's a power play for the Blues. That's killed off as well. But at 5:59, Parayko breaks the shutout for Jones from Brown and Toropchenko. Shots are 4-2 for Seattle at 8 minutes, but one of those two shots for the Blues have gone in. Blues get a power play, and they score on it. So it's Buchnevich from Krug and Shen at 10:54 with 1 second left in the power play. So a little bit of tension here now because it looks like St. Louis is roaring back, right? Then there's a near miss for Tarasenko in close. They pull the goaltender early, and Seattle says thanks, and they bury it. It's Tanev from Schwartz and Dunn at 15:47. Notice that Schwartz and Dunn are both former St. Louis Blues, and they assist on the goal that's basically the dagger. Your final score is 5-2 for Seattle. They go to 18-10-3 with the win. St. Louis is back down to 500 at 16-16-1 with the loss. The shots in this one, 10-6 Seattle in the first, 16-11 Seattle in the second. Both teams had 7 shots in the third. Final shots, 33-24 for Seattle. Power play, St. Louis 1 for 3. Seattle 0 for 3. The hits, 18 apiece. Grice saves 28 out of 32. Jones, 22 saves on 24 shots. And again, Seattle really needed this. Now they've got on a little bit of a streak, and they're winning at home, which is also good news. So, yeah, we'll see if they can keep it up as we get ready for the Christmas break. All right, next up is LA at home against Anaheim. Am I ever glad the 7:30 games didn't go to shootouts tonight, so I get this review done a little bit quicker. Sorry, recap. It's Dostal versus Copley. I can change the name of them. We know it's the exact same videos. We'll just play along. So Benoit has a shot that's held. The shots are 2-1 for the Ducks at 4 minutes. The Ducks came out and played a very good game to start with here. Vetrano's denied from the side of the net, but the Kings end up getting a power play soon after. Kaliev has a blast that's saved. Dursey fires one high. It's killed off. The Kings then had a rush chance. That's defended. Ducks, they draw a power play. That was killed off by the Kings. Zegras is denied. The Ducks really had the edge at this point in the game. Kempe then had a rush chance that saved. The Kings press in the final minute. And the final 5 shots of that first period all go to LA. So the momentum swung back and forth, but by the end of that first period, it was back in favor of the home team. Home teams did very well tonight except one. 7 out of 8, the home team wins. Odd when that happens, right? So the second period, Ducks get a power play. Kings don't let them set up. They easily kill that off. And then Kempe had a rush chance. That wouldn't go. LA draws a power play. Fiala has a shot saved. Doughty's chance is held. And then he gets a goal. This is his first in about 30 games, unless they change it. It looked like there might have been a deflection in front. Last I looked, it's still Doughty's goal. He scores from Kopitar and Kempe at 6:47 with 1 second left in the power play. So again, much like this one here, 1 second left in the power play. It's still a power play goal. Kings go back to the power play. Fiala has a shot that's blocked. The Ducks clear it out. That's killed off. The Kings press after, and then too many men on the ice for the Ducks. You can't play the puck before the guy you're replacing has left the ice. When you do, they're going to call that every single time, and that's what happened there. So the Kings go right back to the power play. Fiala fires one wide. The Kings cycle it, but that's killed off. Things get punchy after a hold by Copley, and the Ducks come out of that with a power play, and they score on it. It is Vetrano scoring from Shattenkirk and Silverberg at 14:27. Buries that one in close on what was a good cycle for Anaheim. Kings press for an answer, and in the final minute, they get it. Play from behind the net and a cross-crease pass by Danault. Iafallo buries it. Danault and Moore with the assists at 19:39. So after 2 periods, it's 2-1 in favor of the LA Kings. Third period, Kopitar's denied. Dostal holds. And then at 3:24, a nice deke, nice move by Arvidsson, whose goal scoring's picked up lately. Scores from Kaliev and Lizotte, so Kaliev's on the board there. Kaliev was prominent tonight, just didn't get a goal. Kings press for another. Ducks get a power play, that's killed off. And then it's a fast break goal. It's Fiala from Kempe at 10:44. Kempe realizes he's streaking for that goal and gets the puck on his stick, and it's done. So that makes it 4-1. The Kings get a power play with 8:50 left. That was killed off. With 5:52 left, the Ducks get a power play. The Kings kill that too, and they win this one 4-1. They go to 18-12-5 with the win. The Ducks, the winning is done for right now. 9-21-3 with the loss. The shots in this one: 12-11 LA in the first, 16-5 LA in the second, 13-9 for the Kings in the third. Final shots: 41-25 for the Kings. Power plays: both teams go 1 for 5. Hits: 23-19 Anaheim. Dostal saves 37 out of 41, and Copley saves 24 out of 25. Copley's looking like a starter. I don't want to make things weird for LA, but it certainly looks like Copley's their best goaltender right now. So we all kind of raised our eyebrows at Peterson being sent down. Maybe Rob Blake realized Copley was pretty good some in the AHL and said, we've got to give this guy a shot. We'll send Cal down and see if he gets this game back, but we need some saves, and maybe he thought Copley could do it. At this point, he has. So good on Copley. All right, and last game of the night is the Calgary Flames in against San Jose. This one was just weird. This game was strange. So it's Markstrom versus Reimer, and on the opening faceoff and a forecheck, Calgary scores. It's Toffoli from Dubé and Lindholm at 15 seconds. And then, 15 seconds later, on a turnover, on their second shot, they score again. It's Dubé from Lindholm and Toffoli. So the same three guys just mix up who's from who. Then Lewis is denied on the second Karlsson turnover of that first period. And this is what was driving me crazy a while ago when I was hearing all of this. Well, he's going to win the Norris. Norris is his. Look at all these points. Is that if you watch the games, you can see that he does commit defensive turnovers. Karlsson's been known as a very good offensive defenseman with some defensive shortcomings. And so that's why when you talk about Norris, he should be in the mix. He should be in there, but I don't think he would be a winner if the vote was right now. I say that knowing full well that he'd get a lot of votes, and he might win. But at any rate, the way this game started and just San Jose's defense looked terrible, I expected like 15-1. I was like, yeah, this is going to be ugly. So, and it does end up that way, but it's weird how it gets there. So Lewis is denied, and then Weegar fires one wide. It's all Flames at this point. The shots are 6-1 for Calgary at 4 minutes. Good back and forth 8 minutes in, but then the Flames press again at 9 minutes. Then there's a near miss for Coleman and close. Kadri has a shot that deflects out. Easy entries for the Flames. This could have been a lot worse. They're having no problem getting into the offensive zone of the Sharks and setting up. There's no wall at the blue line here. And then Sturm. So Zadorov loses a puck. It's in his feet. He doesn't know where it is. And so Meyer grabs it, gets it out to Sturm, and at 14:58, this game's suddenly 2-1. So sneaky goal there by San Jose, but it gets him back into the game. Huberdeau then had a rush that was defended after Ritchie had a fight with Sturm. I didn't see that coming. Ritchie did win that fight, because, yeah, he did. 2:59 left. There's a delay game call that gives the Sharks a power play. It's killed off 3 shots. So we go to the second period with the score 2-1 for Calgary. And considering that the 2 goals were in the first 30 seconds, it could have been a lot worse than what it was. Reimer gets hurt. He took a puck where you really don't want to take a puck. The question was asked, too, in the comments about, well, don't these guys wear cups? Yes, but when a puck's moving at 80 or 90 miles an hour, there's a limit to what a cup can do. So you just back off, give the guy a little bit of time. He stays in the game, but yeah, there's a limit. It's attached to your body. There's a limit. So Gregor has a rush chance that's blocked when we get back to playing here. Power play for Calgary. Huberdeau mishandles. Reimer holds on there. Otherwise, it would have been 3-1. After the kill, the Sharks get a power play. That's killed off. But San Jose's getting some momentum at this point in the game. Reimer was out of position. The Flames couldn't bury. But then shortly thereafter, they set it up and they score. Lewis buries a rebound. Ruzicka with the assist at 10:04. So they do get that goal. Reimer had time to get back in the net and get set for that, though. Flames get a power play. That's killed off. The shots are 13-3 for Calgary with 5 minutes left. So they were just all over San Jose. But Barabanov scores from Harrington and Nieto at 19:23, because sure. So, and there's only 12 shots in the official score sheet, so I guess 1 shot got taken off for Calgary, but still. It was really a lopsided period for Calgary until that Barabanov goal. So this is one of those games where you've outshot your opposition 24-14, but you're only up by 1. And third periods can be very unpredictable in today's NHL. Backlund has a chance that's held as the Flames push, but at 3:58, Meyer, who's been on a heater, scores from Carlson. Good forecheck by Meyer to get the puck to Carlson, who gets it back to Meyer, and Meyer buries it. Meyer, of course, is one that's being talked about in potential trade rumors. I think he's increased his value by a lot with his play. Since the slow start, he's been fantastic for them. So the Flames press for an answer. Sharks get a power play, that's killed off, and then the Flames do get their answer. It's Kadri from Lucic and Huberdeau at 10:04. So that restores the lead. It's at the same time as the Lewis goal was in the second. It's weird how some of these all line up. And then Lucic would score his second in the same amount of games. You go, Milan, from Huberdeau at 16:45. And that was after Nieto had been denied from the slot by Markstrom. So Markstrom made some key saves there in between as well. Goalie pull with 3 minutes left leads to Toffoli hitting the empty net to make it 6-3 from Lindholm at 18:22. So the goalie goes back in, and then they score with the goalie back in. Kadri scores from Huberdeau 20 seconds later at 18:42 to make it 7-3 and really make sure that nobody in that building's making noise who's not wearing a Flames jersey. So at the end of this, it's 7-3 for Calgary. They go to 15-12-6 with the win. San Jose 10-18-6 with the loss. And for the Flames, they now get to go to LA, and then they round out their games before the break by going to Anaheim. This is a winnable 4-game trip through California. If they get all 4, who knows? What we found out is they can beat San Jose. They beat San Jose by a combined score of 12-5 over these 2 games. San Jose will be glad not to see them for a while. Shots in this one, 12-9 Calgary in the first, 12-5 Calgary in the second, 15-13 Calgary in the third. Final shots, 39-27 for the Flames. Power plays, Calgary 0 for 2, San Jose 0 for 3. Hits were 21-16 for San Jose. Markstrom saves 24 out of 27. Reimer saved 32 out of 38. So rough night for Reimer after a 39 save performance in his previous start. And the Flames get the win. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.